Okay. So we're gonna do um, primary today. I'm not sure if we'll do the whole thing. We'll see how we go because I want to talk a little bit about the bandhas and the postures as we go through it, and I don't want to keep you all too late. Let me just, looks like CJ is ready to do some yoga over here. All right, CJ, you gotta go. Oh, I guess I'll leave my glasses on. It's gonna be weird. Okay, stand in Samasthiti. Spread your toes, engage your quads, draw your waistline in and up, and then loop your armpits up and around and then down your back. And we'll begin with Surya Namaskara. So let's do the first couple just moving. I'll just tell you 5 at the end of the Surya Namaskara. So inhale. Five. Second one. Five. Okay, I'm going to talk you through this one. So in the primary series course, we talked about the bandhas as being this opportunity to, or like an invitation to engage. So not so much a lock, but this energy place where you can, you can engage if you want to. So I want you to think about it in that context here. Inhale, reach the arms up and over. All right, now as you forward fold, pull Uddiyana Bandha up, and you kind of create space through the low abdomen as you do that. So as you're folding here, the belly keeps pulling up. That's Uddiyana Bandha, and it should actually create a little bit more space around the hip joints for you. Inhale, head up, Trini position. And another way here in Trini that you can continue to feel Uddiyana Bandha is by making sure your hips are over your heels. So often we kind of send the hips back behind the heels a little bit. This might be a little bit easier for the bandhas. If you shift the weight forward so that the hips are directly over the heels, you'll probably feel a little bit more engagement through your abdomen. Go to that place. And exhale, step back to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. So this transition from upward facing dog to downward facing dog, the pelvis is driving the movement, and a lot of that is also coming from the bandhas. And then here in down dog, it's a nice one because Uddiyana Bandha really just falls into place here. You don't have to do a whole lot. It just goes exactly into the right spot. Okay. From here, come into a crouching position. So what you're going to do is you're going to pull your thighs down to your chest, but really drop the pelvis low. So it should feel like you're kind of tucking a tail in between your legs. And when you do this, it's a great opportunity to find Mula Bandha before you spring forward. So release that for a second. Bend the knees, stick the butt up in the air. So this is how I often see people jumping forward. I think that it feels pretty nice for the hamstrings to do this usually. But when you stick your butt up, it makes it much more difficult to engage through the bandhas. So feel that difference and then go back to that first version where you're tucking the tailbone in between your legs. You're dropping your pelvis low. Look where you're going and inhale, take the feet up to the hands. Again, hips over the heels. Fold back down over the legs. And reach all the way up, arms over. And exhale, hands to your sides. Okay, let's repeat that. Inhale the arms up. Again, Uddiyana Bandha as you forward fold, pulling up and away from the hips. Inhale, head up, hips over the heels. Feel the core engage as you extend the back. Exhale, take the feet behind you. Inhale for upward facing dog and feel the pelvis drive the movement back to downward facing dog and breathe. Five, bend the knees, tuck the tailbone low, and inhale, take it forward. Exhale, fold down over the legs, keep pulling the belly up and away from the hip joint, and inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, arms to your sides. Okay, one more on your own. Five. Okay, Surya Namaskar B. Do the first one on your own. 5. Okay, I'm going to guide you through this one. Inhale for Utkatasana, drop your seat low. Exhale, straighten the legs, pull the belly in, forward fold. Inhale, hips over the heels, extend the back, spread the collarbones. Exhale, feet go back to Chaturanga and lower down. Inhale for your upward facing dog. Exhale, activate through the bandhas, pull the hips back, downward facing dog. Okay, when you step forward to Virabhadrasana, draw the abdomen in. So it's a lot of bandhas creating space as you step the right foot forward to the hands. Drop your back heel down, reach the arms up. Long exhale, hands down. Again, creating space by the hip. Step back, lower down. Inhale for your upward facing dog and exhale to the downward facing dog. Same thing, second side. And then send the hips back to downward facing dog. And again, in down dog, feel how the bandhas fall into place. And 5, bend the knees, drop the pelvis low, and spring forward. Inhale, head up, heels over the or hips over the heels. Exhale, fold down again, space by the hip joint. Drop the butt, bend the knees, reach up, Utkatasana. And Samasthiti. Okay, 2 more on your own. Next one, inhale. Or actually, this is our last one. That'll be 3. Five. Okay. I gotta move this. Heat hurts right in my face. All right, Padangusthasana. Take your feet hip distance apart, and what I want you to do is grab your middle finger and your index finger and put them right here in between your hip bones, beneath the belly button just a little bit. So you kind of, I want you to basically activate your Uddiyana Bandha for yourself. So you want your feet about hip distance apart. It's maybe a little bit more narrow than you might think, and really find that activation through the low abdomen. And then exhale, fold. And let your fingers kind of be this reminder to draw your navel center up. And you're trying to create space right around the hip joint. And then keep drawing in, release the hands, catch the big toes. Inhale, head up to prepare. Exhale, fold all the way down, but don't let that space go where you just had your fingertips. So if you feel like you're letting it go, just put your fingertips right back in there and remind yourself. Hips over the heels. Inhale, head up. Exhale, pause, and then Padhasana. Step your hands underneath your feet. And then exhale, fold down into Padahastasana. Five, inhale, head up. Exhale, pause. Catch your waist, and then stand up. Okay, Trikonasana. Inhale, take a long stance, stand to the long edge of your mat. Rotate your back foot. So this, or your front foot. Your front foot is this leg is externally rotating, back leg is internally rotating. So before you go any further, again, kind of find that scoop through the low abdomen to remind yourself to engage your bandhas, and then extend the right arm over. You can catch your big toe, your ankle, you put your hand on your mat, wherever it goes is fine. Keep grounding through the back leg and find the activation through the low belly as you do so. And five, top hand pulls you up. Change your feet. Again, grounding the back leg, externally rotating the front leg, scooping the low abdomen, and then go ahead and make your move down to the position. Keep pushing the back leg down, slight internal spin there, and that's really going to help you find the bandhas. And inhale, top arm pulls you up. Okay, turn pivot, face the back edge of your mat for the revolve variation. So what I want you to do is take a moment, square your hips, and then reach both arms up and really pull yourself out of your pelvis. So you feel a lengthening of your abdomen. And exhale, left arm reaches down, right arm stays up as you take your twisting position. Strong legs. Windmill your arms up as you inhale. Turn pivot to the second side. Again, both arms reach up over the shoulders. Draw everything that you can up and out of the pelvis. And then exhale, right hand down, left arm stays high. Inhale up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Parshva Konasana, side angle pose. Step out to the right. Perhaps a little bit of a longer stance this time. And lower down to Virabhadrasana B position, and then exhale, right hand down, left arm up. And then from here, push your sacrum forward. Keep pressing into the outside edge of the back heel. Keep moving the sacrum forward. Keep the legs as they are. Inhale up, Virabhadrasana, straighten the right leg, turn, pivot, second side. Draw the low abdomen in and up. And then exhale, left hand down, right arm reaches. Press into the outside edge of your back foot. Press your sacrum forward to the long edge of the mat. Okay, stay with the legs. Inhale up and straighten. Okay, turn pivot for the the revolve side. So lift your back heel up for this one. If you don't have to, but it's usually a little bit easier. So if you struggle with it, lift the back heel up, or alternately put the knee on the floor. Take your palm to your forehead, put your elbow on your knee, and take a second here to really get this aponic curl. So you should feel a lot of action through your bandhas here, your Uddiyana bandha in particular, and then go ahead and slide the arm outside of the leg. Reach the top arm over the ear. Keep lunging forward with the right knee, draw the right hip back. And 5, inhale up, strong legs. Turn, pivot, second side. Again, back heel up if you like, or you put the knee down. Palm to the forehead, elbow to the knee. Take a second here and really get that aponic curl. So you should feel some activation through the low belly because you need that space as you move forward into the pose. And then go ahead and put your hand down as you're ready and reach the top arm over the ear. Lunge with the left knee, pull the left hip back at the same time. So you're finding a lot of resistance in this pose. Strong legs, and inhale, come on up. Step it to the front edge of the mat. Prasarita Padottanasana. Step face the long edge of the mat. So what we're going to think about here, because this is a nice place to find it, is the connection from the arch of the foot up the inseam of the leg to your pelvic floor. So before we go any further, try to find that connection from the arch to the pelvic floor. And then inhale to prepare. Exhale, fold down, place your hands on the mat. Inhale, head up, lengthen the back. And exhale, crown the head down. Again, keep checking in with the connection from the pelvic floor to the arch of the foot. So it goes all the way up the inseam of your leg. And 5, inhale, head up, pause, exhale, and then catch your waist. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale at the top. B position, inhale, open, reach. Exhale, hands to the waist and squeeze. And you're going to leave your hands on your waist this time, which is a nice invitation to remember to engage the bandhas. And exhale, fold down. Strong legs, inhale up, exhale at the top. Okay, inhale, open the arms, interlace the hands behind your back. Take a big reach here, spreading open through the chest and the fronts of the shoulders, and then exhale. Rely on your bandhas to help you balance here as you reach the arms forward and shift.
And strong legs, inhale up.
Hands to the waist. And our last one here, D position. Inhale, exhale, fold, catch the big toes. Inhale, head up, long back. Exhale, pull yourself down, crown the head to the floor. Inhale, head up. Exhale, pause. Catch your waist, inhale, come on up. And exhale, Samasthiti. Parshvottanasana. Take reverse namaste if it's available to you, or you could just grab opposite elbows, whichever works for your shoulders. Step the right foot back, turn pivot, face the back edge of your mat. So before you go down, really lengthen through the torso, find the engagement through the midline and the bandhas, and then when you're ready, exhale, fold down over your right leg. And inhale, come on up. All right, turn, pivot, second side. Lengthen and then fold. And inhale up, long back. Okay, exhale. Samasthiti, chop it to the mat. Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. So this is a great one to find your bandhas in because it's really hard to balance without it. Left hand to the left waist. Catch your right big toe when you're ready. Extend the leg. Plug the arm bone into the shoulder. Fold if it's appropriate for you. I'm going to tip over, so I'm going to stay up, but fold if you can. And breathe. Five, open to the right. Gaze to the left. Keep connecting to Samasthiti here. Okay, inhale back to the middle. Fold over the leg. Lots of bandhas here to help you balance. Head up. Float the leg. Strong standing leg. And five. Okay. Second side. Keep the arm bone plugged in. Keep the low belly toned. Fold if it's available to you. Open to the left. Gaze to your right. Come on back to the middle. Pause. Fold over the leg. And float your leg. And five. All right, go ahead, lower down. Ardha Baddha Padma Padottanasana. You're going to take your right foot to the crease of the opposite hip. Okay, I'm not going to fold in this one. You're welcome to if you want to, but before any folding happens, this is a great place to find the bandhas. So the right leg, the lotus leg gets weighted and it drops down. And as you tone the low abdomen, think about scooping it in and up, create more space for yourself through the hip joint. So it actually should become easier for the knee as you do so. And then from here, if you want to fold, go ahead. And if you're down, come on back up. and then release. Great. Okay, let's do the same thing on the second side. So take a moment once you have your leg in the half lotus position. And again, you're trying to weight the left leg down and pull the low belly in and up to create more space through the hip joint. And this should actually make it feel a lot easier for the knee and the hip once you do that. If you want to fold here, fold. Otherwise, stay here and stay attuned to what your bandhas are doing. If you're down, come on back up. Perfect. And release. All right. We've got a vinyasa here. Inhale. We'll meet up in down dog. Exhale. All right, from down dog, crouch, pelvis is low. Connect with Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Spring forward, keep the butt low, reach the arms up. Five, keep the legs, put the chest on the thighs, place the hands on the mat. Again, think about your bandhas cooperating here. Take it up and then back. Chaturanga. Right foot steps up. 5, straighten the right leg, turn pivot, second side. And exhale, open to B position. Drop the pelvis down and try to keep the crown of the head in the same line as your Mula Bandha. So you're stacking up here. 5. And 5. Hands down. Take it back. Chaturanga. Okay, again, the crouching position. So really tapping into your bandhas here, pelvis low. And then 2 seated. Hop forward, walk forward. Dandasana. So Dandasana is Mahabandha. It's all the bandhas. So when we're seated on the mat, it's a little bit easier to connect to our pelvic floor. So think about Mula Bandha as the pelvic floor and find that connection. And then it's really like Samasthiti here, both a little hinge at the waist. So you are lifting up out of your pelvis, and then lift your chest up to your chin as high as you can get it, and then tuck the chin the rest of the way. Okay, Paschimottanasana. So we're gonna spend a little bit of time on this one because as we move through the forward folds, it's basically the same thing. You're just changing what you're doing with your hip, but it's the same action through the upper body. So what I see often in Paschimottanasana is people grab their big toes and then start using their arms like crazy to pull themselves into this forward fold. But because we're focusing on the bandhas today, I don't want you to do that. Instead, what I want you to do is reach the arms up and over and pull yourself up to the ceiling as much as you can, and feel this length that you get through the torso when you do that. And really extending, Uddiyana Bandha is really helping you here. It's that lifting up sensation that Uddiyana Bandha is helping you create, and then fold forward from there. And then if, grab your big toes, but it's not pulling from the arms. The lengthening is coming from the torso. And Uddiyana Bandha is helping you with this. Mula Bandha is grounding your pelvis. And 5, inhale, head up. And then your choice of B or C position, either one. But again, the lengthening is coming from the pelvis. And 5, inhale, head up. Exhale, pause, and then sit up. And then for the transitions, of course, there's a lot of bandhas going on in transition. So it's pushing up, that part is Uddiyana Bandha, and pulling yourself back, that part's more Mula Bandha. So, and getting yourself into a tight little shape, that's a lot of all the bandhas too. So get into your position, inhale Uddiyana Bandha, exhale Mula Bandha. Again, crouching, drop the pelvis super low, spring forward. Purusvottanasana. Take the hands behind you, put a softening in the elbow here. Before you do anything else, there's all 3 bandhas right now: Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, and then lift. And then take the head back so you'll release Jalandhara Bandha. And 5. Go ahead and lower down. Okay. Take your vinyasa. Inhale Uddiyana Bandha, exhale Mula Bandha. And jump through to seated. Okay. Left leg straight. Right leg into the seated half lotus position. So even to get the right heel up to the half lotus, draw up through the bandhas, just like we did in the standing version of this pose, but that's going to help you create more space as we move into the seated version. Lengthen, arms up, and then fold if you want to fold. You don't have to. Bind if you want to bind, again, optional. And as you move into the fold here, keep lengthening through the torso. So every breath you're getting longer. And 5, inhale, exhale. All right, take your vinyasa, or you can just lift up in between. So squeeze it in tight. Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha to help you transition. Jump through second side. And same thing here. Cradle the heel into the hip joint and drop the bandhas to make space for this. And if you need more time to get into half lotus, just take it. There's not a rush. And 5, inhale, head up. Exhale, pause. Again, use your bandhas, pull yourself into that tight little ball. And then inhale, Uddiyana Bandha. Exhale, Mula Bandha. Tarendra Mukha Ekapada Paschimottanasana. Jump through. Right leg folds. And here you have an opportunity to find the bandhas by connecting through the inner thighs. So it's like you're zipping up through the inner thighs. Again, get a connection to the pelvic floor. And then fold forward if you like. Inhale, head up. Exhale. And then take your vinyasa. And jump through, second side. Again, zipping up through the inner thighs. Get that connection to the midline. And then lengthen the torso and fold if you want to. And if you feel yourself floating off here, think about Mula Bandha grounding you down. Again, connect to the pelvic floor, ground down into the mat. So you ground and then you lift, and there's always those opposing actions. Okay, inhale, head up. Exhale, and take your vinyasa. Janu Shirshasana. Left leg straight, right leg folds. Ground, lift, and then fold. And 5. Inhale, head up. Exhale, pause. And take your vinyasa. So pull yourself in tight. Inhale, Uddiyana Bandha. Exhale, Mula Bandha. Second side. And 5. Inhale. Exhale, pause. And then inhale, sit up, lift up. Janu Shirshasana B. You're going to come back into A position and then lift your hips up, slide forward so you're seated on your heel. If you want the toes pointing forward still, sometimes if you have to point them out, that's okay, but ideally they're pointing forward. So this is a real obvious reminder to keep Mula Bandha engaged as you're sitting right on your pelvic floor or right on your heels up your pelvic floor. Keep lengthening through the torso. So it's like the crown of the head is reaching forward toward the foot. And then inhale, head up. Exhale, pause, sit up, and take a vinyasa. And second side. So you're seated on your heel again. Mula Bandha is activated. Uddiyana Bandha lengthens, and you fold over the right leg. And 5. Inhale, head up. Exhale, pause, and take a vinyasa. Janu Shirshasana C. Come to your crouching position and spring through. Sit on a block if you need to here. The right toes go down to the floor. The arch of the right foot is along the inseam of the left leg. If you can, you're dropping your right knee down. Inhale to lengthen, draw up with all your bandhas, and then exhale to fold. And again, keep reaching the crown of the head toward the foot to get length in the back. And 5, inhale, exhale, and inhale, come on up. And a vinyasa. Jump through, sit down. Second side. Right leg is your straight leg, left toes down, left heel up, and the arch of the foot is along the inseam of the right leg. Ground, lift, and fold. Inhale, head up. Exhale, pause, and take a vinyasa. Marichasana, A position. Jump through, sit down. The right leg goes to Marichasana. Ground the foot down, knee up. Take both arms forward and reach them forward towards your foot. And again, lengthen the torso and then swim the arms back and bind if it's available to you. So Mula Bandha is the grounding action here, and Uddiyana Bandha is the lengthening. And 5, inhale, head up, pause, and take a vinyasa. All right, second side. Left leg goes to the Marichasana position, right leg is straight. Keep an internal spin on the right leg. Lengthen through the torso, fold, and wrap and bind. 5, inhale, head up. Exhale, pause. And then inhale for the vinyasa. Marichasana B position. The left leg goes to the half lotus. And then the right leg bends to Marichasana. And the half lotus is actually part of the foundation. So you want to try to drop the lotus down, even if it means you're sitting on a blanket or something, that's totally fine. Your right hip is going to hover off the mat. Don't worry about grounding it here. And then when you're ready, fold forward. You can keep your hands on the mat if you want, or you can reach for the bind, which would be the full version of the pose. But hands forward is okay if your shoulders aren't cooperating with you. And 5, inhale, head up. Exhale, pause, and come on up. And then take a vinyasa. And jump through second side. This time the right leg goes to the half lotus. Let the lotus ground you. It's part of the foundation here. And reach and bind if you can. Five, inhale, head up. And take a vinyasa. Marichasana C. Right leg bends, left leg is straight. And there's a couple of different ways to do this one. It'll kind of depend on your proportions, but I usually hover my sit bone off the mat. It's okay to drop it down too, but what you don't want to do is drop it down and lean back. So start with your right hand behind you as a little bit of an outrigger, nudging you forward. Lift the left arm up. Get a external spiral with the left arm, really lengthen through the torso, and then reach the left arm outside the right leg. And if you can bind, awesome. If you can't, don't worry about it. And just kind of be mindful of what the right hip's doing. Good. Yeah, they look good. Perfect. And then turn and face forward. You're going to release, and it's another vinyasa. And jump through. Second side. Left leg folds. The left hand can be behind you to kind of help shove yourself forward a little bit. Reach the right arm up. Really lengthen the side, lengthen the torso. And then exhale and kind of karate chop around the left leg. Five. Turn and face forward. Release. Take a vinyasa. Jump through, sit down, Marichasana D. So now we're combining everything from the last couple of poses. The left leg goes to the half lotus. The left leg is part of the foundation here, so you want to let it be weighted. The right leg comes up to the Marichasana position. So the right sit bone hovers off the mat here. And again, you can kind of push yourself forward a little bit, or you could sit on a little something. So option one is to hug, and you're gonna hug yourself in. Actually, Paul does this nicely, so I'll just let him show you. And you could also pull on your shin a little bit if you needed to. And then once you have a really good hug here with the armpit and the knee very close together, it becomes possible to start to work over the arm over. But until you get a tight hug, it's really hard to do that. So just work on the hugging. Yeah, that's super good. Let the left leg drop, right? Because that's the foundation. And if it's hovering, it's okay. Just sit on something or take your hand behind you and push you forward a little bit. And then last thing is to look over the right shoulder. And then turn and face forward. And let's take a vinyasa here. Jump through for your second side. Okay. The right leg does the half lotus. The left leg goes to the Marichyasana position. And you come forward because that half lotus needs to be grounded. And then hug when you're ready. And once you have a good hug, if you want to try to slide the arm over the knee, that would be the time to do it. But hugging is a really good step. And what I mean, it's so common for people's weight to drop back here. So if you feel like your weight is dropping back, sit on something or use your hand as an outrigger. And then turn and face forward, release the bind, and take a vinyasa. Navasana, jump through, sit down. Can I use the little blocks for this one, please? Okay. All right, so Navasana is a great pose to work on the bandhas in. Again, the pelvic floor is the Mula bandhas grounding you. So find a balance point right at the backs of the sit bones and the front of the tailbone, and then reach the arms parallel to the floor and zip up through the midline of the torso, and then extend the legs. So you can keep them bent if you want, or you can straighten. And then while you're here, you pull your low belly in and gaze to your feet. So suck the low belly in as much as you can here. This is 3. Looks good. 4 and 5. And then if you have blocks, I mean, Lolasana with the blocks is a really helpful way to really tap into the bandhas here. So let's take a second in Lolasana also. If you don't have blocks, it's totally fine. It's just harder. So you pull yourself into that little ball again. Think Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha. So Uddiyana Bandha lifts you up, and Mula Bandha starts to kind of transition that weight and shift it back a little bit, and then come forward onto your butt again. So we'll do it again. Don't worry, we got 5 of them. So let's do Navasana, and then we'll try that Lolasana lift again. So Navasana. And 5. Okay, so Lolasana, this is how you're going to do it. So if you don't have blocks, it's totally fine. But you have to start by pulling yourself into a pretty tight shape. So I suggest crossing up on the shins versus the ankles. I think that can help get everything tighter. But either is okay. You should experiment with both in your practice and see what works for you. And then it's a lot of Uddiyana Bandha to lift up and then start to kind of drop the head, take the hips back, and that action of going up and back's a little bit more of the Mula Bandha activation. Okay, 3 more times. Navasana. Tone the low belly here. Suck it in. And 5. Hug it in. Up and back. Take it down. 2 more. Four and 5. Hug it in. And then your last time. And 5. Okay, take a vinyasa. And let me check the time because I 8:15. Okay, let's do two more poses and then we'll wrap it up. And because I want to spend a little bit of time on the bandhas and back bends. So, Bhuja Pidasana. Um, let's talk about jumping into this one because a lot of the jumping in action is bandhas. So you crouch like we talked about in the Surya Namaskar and really drop the pelvis low. And then when you spring forward, there's this shifting of bringing the shoulders forward. Of course, you're taking your thighs with you, and you're keeping the thigh really close to the chest. And then at the end, you kick the feet forward, but you have to let go of the idea of wanting to land on your feet because we always want to land on our feet. You got to let that go. Like if you're trying to land on your feet, you're not going to land in Bhujavidasana, at least probably the way that you see, uh, that people kind of aspire to. If you want to land on your feet, that's totally fine. But if you want to land on your arms, you've got to kick the feet forward and try not to land on the feet. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like. Come into this crouch. Look how close my thighs are to my chest, and I'm going to try to keep them there as I spring. And hopefully my pelvis is pretty far down. And then when I jump, I'm pushing with my arms, and I kick the feet. And then I try to cross. But like I said, don't try to land on your feet. I'm going to watch you guys. Let's see. Try it one more time, Natasha, and kick the feet forward. That was pretty good. That was good, Rebecca. Yeah, I mean, honestly, landing on your butt's pretty good, though. Catherine, butt lower to go. Yeah, like that. Yes, that was good. That was good. Nice, Alice. And Lisa, that looks good. I know it's it's hard. It is hard. Okay, let's do the pose. That was good effort. It takes a long time to get that. So for the pose, it's another challenging transition, really. But think about bending the elbows, reaching the head forward, and dropping the chin. Hold that for 5, and then again shift the weight so the butt goes down, the head comes up. And then Karmasana and Supta Karmasana we'll do as well. So you're going to hop the feet around the hands and lower your butt down. Sorry, it probably sounds like we have a cow in here drinking water, but it's just Norman. Okay. All right, lots of bandhas here to protect the back. And it's actually, like one of the main functions of bandhas is to protect you in these challenging poses. So you're gonna fold forward, and it's such a deep forward fold now that you're folding behind your legs. So lots of Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha to protect you here. It'll save your back. And reach through the feet, press into the hands. And then you can start to take that together to Karmasana. So if I really like the blocks in Karmasana, if you want to try Karmasana with the blocks, you put your feet on a block and you kind of tuck down and grab the edges and pull yourself through. And we'll spend a good 10 breaths here in Karmasana so that everyone gets a chance to work into their hips. Let me just see what you all look like here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you guys are good. Perfect. Okay, and then to transition out of it, let's all try this transition together. Hi, Happy. We're not done with yoga yet. We're still practicing yoga. Okay, so you're gonna lift up to your hands. So you're basically back in that Bhuja Pidasana position. Move, Hamp, move. And then from here, the head goes down and the butt comes up. Bend the knees and take it back. So that transition of a lot of it comes from the shoulder girdle, but it's a lot of abs lifting too. And then once you kind of get the masses, the body masses in the right position, it gets a little bit easier. Okay, jump through, lie down. We're going to be on our backs now. We're going to start with a couple of bridge poses. Go away. All right. What we're going to focus on here is, we talked about this a little bit in the back bending workshop. We're going to talk about grounding before we lift again. So we're playing with the middle finger and the index finger, and they're going inside your hip bones about 2 inches or so beneath the belly button. And I want you to push down there and feel connected. So you should feel something pushing back into your fingertips. And let's talk about the pelvic floor here. Keep your fingers where they are. So your pelvic floor, I want you to imagine that it's an elevator. And you're taking your pelvic floor and you're just going up the first floor of the elevator. So there, you should, when you're on the first floor of the elevator, you want to feel a little feedback into your fingertips. And the fingers are pushing down into that space between the hip bones, beneath the belly button. And then the pelvic floor goes up to the second floor. And when you're up on the second floor, you feel more feedback in the fingers. And then the pelvic floor goes up to the third floor and you feel even more feedback in the fingers. And then your pelvic floor is up in the fourth floor and it's basically all the way up in your rib cage and you feel even more engagement in the fingers. And then you slowly take it down the elevator again. And as you lower down, you feel a release through the fingers. And I want to tell you this again, just because Mula Bandha is very important in our back bends. It's going to protect your low back. It'll help you find length in the low back. And again, there's like this ground, we're always kind of working with these opposites. So you ground and then you lift. You're trying to create resistance in a lot of these poses. So one more time, let's just do that pelvic floor thing once more. Fingertips are inside the hip bones, about 2 inches beneath your belly button. And think about your pelvic floor going up the elevator. So it's on floor 1 and you feel a little bit of feedback in your fingers. And then it goes up to floor 2 and you feel more feedback. And the third floor. And then when you have your pelvic floor up to your rib cage, your low belly, you feel very toned. Now I want you to stay there with the toning. I mean, put your fingers, or your hands rather, along your sides for bridge pose. And then push into the feet, feel the glutes and the hips engage, lift your hips up. Once you get up, walk the shoulder blades together, lift your chest to your chin. So now we're back at Jalandhara Bandha. And push down, lift up. And so it's like a lot of shoulders here. The shoulders are really the foundation. They're really pushing you down. And so this is kind of like the shoulder stand prep that we did a couple of months ago in the live training. Push, chest lifts, knees draw in, everything's toning, and then lower down one bone at a time. So let's do that one more time, and then we'll do Urdhva Dhanurasana. So we're not going to go through that pelvic floor exercise again, but hopefully you can activate it. So take a second, get the pelvic floor cooperating, it's participating in this, and then peel the hips and the back away from the mat. Knees reach forward, heels draw back, walk your shoulder blades in, push your arms and your shoulders down, and lift your hips up, lift your chest up to the chin. And lower down. Okay. And we're going to do 3 more back bends now. So if you prefer to repeat what we just did, that's fine. Of course, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I want you to reach your arms up and over your head, plug your arm bones into your shoulder sockets, bend the elbows, and place the hands outside of the ears. The fingertips are reaching toward the long edge of your mat. Activate the pelvic floor, activate the low belly, peel your hips up and off of the mat so that you're trying to come into a bridge pose, except you can't because your hands are in the wrong place.
and then pop up to the top of your head. From here, pull the elbows together, push your chest back, and when you're ready, extend up. And breathe 5 times. And 5, tuck your chin, lower down. Okay, and we're gonna repeat. So place your hands, and when you're ready, come back up to the top of the head, pull the elbows in, push the chest back, and extend up. And 5, lower down, this time just to the top of the head. Maybe walk the hands in and come up for your last one. Think of your legs as making a big circle. So the circle starts at your butt and it goes out the outside of the legs, over the top of the legs, down the inside of the legs to the knees, and all the way down to the arch of the feet. And then lower down. Okay, hug your knees into your chest. Drop both legs over to your right and just let yourself have a quick little twist. And then drop both legs over to your left and twist the other way. And come back to the middle. Take a rock up to seated and Paschimottanasana. Go into a forward bend. Okay, shoulder stand. So if you need to grab any props for shoulder stand, go ahead and get it. I usually use a blanket or a seat cushion just to get my shoulders a little bit more elevated, or my neck more elevated, so I'm off of it. Even just folding the mat in half can be helpful. Okay, so you want to lie down so that your head is on the floor and your shoulders are on your pad. If this is actually a ton of bandhas to come up into shoulder stand. So start with your legs right over your hips. And you can either take your legs all the way over your head to halasana to come up or try to go straight up to shoulder stand. But regardless, strong core engagement. And then take it up. And again, the nice thing about being upside down is that your bandhas just kind of fall into place. And 10, take your feet over your head. And then Karni Pudasana, bring your knees to your ears. And now legs back up and over your head. Okay, this time you have Padmasana or crisscross legs,
or a diamond shape, whatever your body will do for you. Hands to the knees. So strong Jalandhara bandha here. This is why I can't talk. Hug the knees in. And then slowly roll your lotus down to the mat. Matsayasana. Head down, back arches. Uttana Padasana, extend the legs, reach the arms. And lower down. Take a Chakrasana if that works for you. Otherwise, sit up and take a vinyasa. Okay, in Shirshasana, interlace the hands, place the forearms down on the mat. The elbows are about shoulder distance apart. And then place your head down so that your neck is long. And then from here, feel the bandhas engaged before you go any further. So you can have your knees bent or they can be straight. It depends on your hamstrings. Push the elbows down and swing the legs up. And then once you're up, again, the bandhas just fall into exactly where they need to be. Gravity can really help with and putting the bandhas in the right place. Okay, you're gonna lower halfway down. Take the hips over the head, or maybe even the pelvis goes beyond the head, and the legs come down to there about parallel to the floor. Keep pushing into the elbows and the forearms. And then take it all the way back up. And slowly all the way down to a child's pose. And step back to Chaturanga. Jump through, sit down for Padmasana. So crisscross legs, Padmasana if it's available to you. Doesn't really matter. And then you can either grab your feet or grab opposite elbows behind your back, depending on what you're doing and what you can reach. And then fold. Inhale, come on up for Padmasana. Index finger and the thumb come together. the tops of the hands around the knees. Sit up tall, 10 breaths. Okay, Utplatihi, hands down, uproot your lotus. Keep pushing. It's okay if nothing's coming up. And 10, lower down. All right, take rest. Let's see, I'll time a 5-minute Shavasana for us.